Feel the pulse, a quiet hum, a steady rhythm like a distant drum. In the darkness waiting for the sun, a brand new day is yet to come. They build the walls to keep us down, whisper lies all over town. But every seed that hits the ground will break the silence with its sound. I hold this truth inside my hand, and on this solid rock I'll stand. Oh, can you feel the justice rising? Got a new horizon in my soul. Yeah, I got faith, it's multiplying, and it's taking back all the control. This vibration's gonna shake the nation. Let them talk their empty words. My spirit flies on with the birds. Their tangled webs are so absurd. My simple truth will be heard. No, I won't bow, I won't break down. I'm here to claim my righteous crown. Oh, can you feel the justice rising? Justice rising. Got a new horizon in my soul. Yeah, I got faith, it's multiplying. It's multiplying. And it's taking back all the control. This vibration's gonna shake the nation. Justice rising, calling my name. Feel the vibration, feel it deep inside. A new creation, yeah, yeah.
From shadows deep, a whisper starts to bloom, a tiny spark defying all the gloom. They said we were too small to eat, to rise. Ignored the fire burning in our eyes. But every root we set, a promise made, a silent strength that never will evade.
tears we cried, the inner strength we held deep down inside. We journeys long but bitter unfolds across the field. Forever standing tall, banish every fear. We will rise, the phoenix will rise. Our triumph echoes, reaching for the sky. Unstoppable power, eternally we fly.
Brian is innocent. Brian has been essentially convicted in the media. He has a right to have this information withheld, brought out in public so that people can see it's not this neat little package. So people can start to wonder if Brian's innocent. Your Honor, Brian is innocent. So if I talk about things that are in the affidavit, and if I talk about things that we're seeking that the state wants to hide, I think that's fair game for the public to hear.
Good morning, you beautiful, amazing nesters. How are you all today? I am so glad to be here. So very thrilled. I hope you all are ready for this amazing topic. I am. Kind of a tough one. The word incision changes everything. We're going to do an IDAHO4 deep dive. Are you all ready? Drop a 1 if you're ready. But before we officially begin this live, I want to set the tone for this conversation because this topic is sensitive, complicated, and honestly fascinating from an investigative standpoint. We are discussing one specific word found in a document connected to the IDAHO4 case, incision. Now, at first glance, some people may hear and think, okay, but in the forensic world, wording matters. There's a huge difference between incision, incised wound, stab wound, laceration, and sharp force trauma. And tonight, we're going to carefully break down why some people are questioning that wording, especially when the document also discusses blood saturation, blanket placement, and timeline reconstruction within the room. Now, let me be very clear before we start. This discussion analysis is about open-minded investigation. We're not claiming facts we can't prove. We're not accusing anyone. And we are not pretending to know the details hidden from the public. What we are doing is asking questions. Because one thing I've learned covering this case, sometimes the smallest details create the biggest rabbit holes. And tonight's rabbit hole, why use the word incision instead of something more common like stab wound? Was it casual wording? Was it investigative wording? Was it medical terminology? Or does it potentially suggest something more about the injury itself? And then there's the other major point. The document appears to suggest bedding may have been placed over the injury after the wound occurred. That opens a completely different conversation about movement inside the scene, sequence of events, and reconstruction. So tonight, we're going full eagle eye investigative mode. We're going to explore forensic terminology, possible interpretations, and why scene wording matters and how investigators reconstruct and what may have happened using blood evidence and photographs. As always, here on Phoenix Talks, I'm your host, Phoenix. Please stay respectful. Please stay logical. And please stay grounded. If that's your vibe, welcome home, because in the nest, we're here for one reason, and that is to find truth. Now, let me ask you, have you ever noticed how one single word can completely change the meaning of a report? One single word. Drop a 1 for yes or 2 for no. And I'm going to welcome all you fabulous people in. Hello, No Talkie Before Coffee. Good to see you, Truth Seeker. Hello, Nona, Rebecca, all you OGs in the house. Miss Q, welcome in. Welcome in, Munson. Ready to rock and roll. Donna Rosa, Brenda Frey, Tanya, welcome in. Just Jackie, Truth Seeker, Mandy Joe, Tanya, welcome in. Make Chevy square again. Hello, hello, hello. I've got some good news today. Peony, welcome in. Timeless Mercury, hello, pretty much. If I didn't mention you, my mods are in the house, and we do have the best mods in the house. And even Lulu Bell said months ago, our mod squad is amazing. And I think they really are. We do have the trendiest mod squad in the world, especially on YouTube. And I appreciate every one of you. So amazed, so amazed. If you weren't here for our book club the other day, I want to let you know we have selected a new book club for the month of June. And I've got some exciting things coming your way in regards to this book club, folks, that you don't want to miss out. It is for nesters. It is exclusive. It is a membership per month. And in June, we are going to be covering a book by, oh my gosh, I just slipped my mind. Max Maxwell, is that correct? Ooh, I hope that's right. Don't let me say it wrong. And he wrote the book, Max Marshall, Among the Bros. And it is a fraternity crime story. So that is going to be our June book club of the month. Grab it before June. Every Tuesday, we have a live dedicated for that. And I am so excited. And someone said last night, why don't I make a emoji for our trendiest mod squad? So I think I'm going to do that later on today. And on Mod Mondays, every donation goes to our mods, and that will be an emoji that everybody can use. I am so excited for this book club, and I'm excited today for this stream. So let me do this. You guys have answered my question. Let me get to the answers. And I see a lot of you say ones. Yeah, wording matters, especially in the IDAHO4 reports. And that is exactly what we're going to be talking about. Incision may be common word in the field he is in, used by all of them when writing reports. Incision means a precise cut. Yep. Gotta order the book. You can get it on YouTube. You can get it on Amazon Prime. You can pick it up there or look around in some bookstores. I don't know if you can get it on Goodreads or maybe a used copy. I love book clubs too. I really do. It helps open your mind up to so many different things in the world from a perspective of somebody who was inside that world. Who owned the autopsy reports? Washington, Idaho, or MPB? Is that Moscow Police Department? This issue keeps coming up in the EW lawsuit. And this is really key. And I'm going to be talking about this in a few days, especially the EWU. Is that how they're saying it? EWU. They want this, uh, body cam, because that's their specialty. They want this body cam released so they can share it with the public. But obviously the family are interveners and they want this stopped because they do have a order against not releasing anything, and now they've come in and it's going, I think it's probably going to go to the Supreme Court. But the ruling is just the other day, I tell you, it's wild. I watched the whole thing. They are basically pulling stall tactics, in my opinion, because now they wanted to have the hearing to see if they could actually get this released. And now the judge has pushed it back in favoritism, in my opinion, to the MPD in the state of Idaho, because the state law now becomes effective that they're not going to release any of these documents at all, no matter what your request is. So it's crazy. Idaho is making their own rules up. Can you believe I have bought the books and I haven't read one? Oh my gosh, you got to read them. You got to read them to get the information, folks. The information that I'm gleaning from all these books, especially The Broken Plea, is phenomenal, answering questions that we didn't have answers to. And hopefully these are truthful, because that's what we are banking on, right? But I want to share something with you that is key to this investigation and the autopsy. It was said that Stacy Chapin, Ethan's mom, did actually, in fact, get a second autopsy on Ethan. Now, I was going through the autopsy report again and why they wouldn't release this to the public and why it's become such a convoluted legal action. And the term incision is not a regular term that I have done a little bit of research, a lot of deep dive, a lot of rabbit holing, if that's even a word. And I have found that there is a huge medical termination division here when using autopsy words for, medical terms. And in that research, you can actually see that the word incision is very cut, dry, no pun intended, right? This is a pretty serious matter. No cut intended, but an incision is cut made into the skin or tissue, typically for surgical or investigative purposes. Now, I don't think the medical examiner made an incision, okay? This was their view and what they saw in the autopsy. And it may be made to access internal organs or just to examine injuries from the perspective of a medical examiner. Then they have other terms like a Y incision. Usually they cut it, to get to the pubic bone. A cut versus a stab. A cut is wide and deep. A stab is deeper than wide, indicating sharp force trauma, and a cut is blunt force trauma. And then it goes on to incised wound. Now, I did point this out in my book club yesterday. In the book Broken Plea, it clearly indicates that the terminology used in the book confused me because it wasn't the actual incised. It was kind of like, how do I want to say this without being politically correct? It was like, he said in the book, Broken Plea said that they were stabbed, right? Incised wounds is what he used, but he didn't use the autopsy words of incision. And that's where it got me really confused. Of course, obviously, I'm fact checking these, right? Incised wounds are very different than an incision. And you can see that on this chart that I have for you guys, that you can clearly see what an autopsy, a medical examiner, would use for wording. And why is that so important? Because an incised wound is a wound caused by a cutting instrument. Now, it didn't say surgical, but it says such as a knife or blade, which can be sharp or blunt depending on the tool. All right? Depending on the tool used. And the expert that was coming in was an expert in tools. not just gunshots. He was an expert in tools that were used. Okay. So when you look at incised wounds in the book, that's all he's used for the individuals. Now, there were 2 individuals, and let me show you real quick. This is what Christopher Whitcomb used in the book, and this is actually what the autopsy says. I want to be very clear with this. This is what he used for Xana, Ethan, Kaylee, and Maddie. But here's the problem with this. I have a big problem with this. The autopsy is very clear. Very clear. And I'm going to show you what the autopsy actually. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put this on the website again. I know it was up there at one time. I'll put it back up there. The autopsy was very clear because Dr. Singh obviously was on the witness list for Brian Koberger. And when coming to the witness stand, you have to know your craft, okay? You have to know exactly what it is you're going to talk about, what you're going to say. They've asked you questions beforehand. I have been on the witness stand before many times, and I will tell you from my own experience, you better know your stuff. You better know, and you better know. I guess that's all I could really say. And in this autopsy report, it was very clear. Yes, she uses incised wounds, and yes, she uses incision. 2 totally different things. 2 totally different things. So here is the actual autopsy report that they released to the public. And I don't know if anybody's really been talking about this because I try not to watch other creators. I do try to look for things that are odd, abnormal, and patterned. But this was odd and abnormal and patterned, and also go a little deeper into the woods. Has anybody ever looked at the autopsy, benchmark it against broken plea yet? She also used debris for hair. Yes. No, she actually used trace evidence. I showed that yesterday in the book club, Love and Other Habits. She actually used trace evidence. So trace evidence can be said as hair, not debris. Okay. So let me go back and catch up with the chat because you guys are like on fire today. What have I missed? You haven't missed anything. I put this book on my Audible wish list. Okay. Grace, if you want to share your wish list with us, pop it in the text below. I'll allow that. And if anybody feels, generous, maybe we can answer some of these wish lists. And I'm going to move my microphone a little bit so that I don't feel like I'm turning my head to look at my monitor. And my lives are unscripted, folks, so you get what you get. So let me catch up with the chat. Should I read them in that order when I get them? Yeah, you can. You can go back, and if you're a member, you can watch the previous member-only book clubs and catch up on what maybe you missed in the book. I mean, there are things that I missed in the book. Hey, Les, good to see you, honey. Yeah, did everybody hit the thumbs up? Hit the thumbs up, go back, exit, come back in. And this brought up a question to the early 4chan. Maybe he used to look for a bullet or broken off knife. Oh, possible. Possible. Incised wounds remove the bullets. Possible. And yes, wording is key in everything, even contracts. When you sign any type of contract, read the contracts very thoroughly. I am probably one of the few people, my husband taught me this. If you're going to sign your name away to something, take your time and read the contract. If you're not okay with it, don't sign it. I thought we would never see the autopsy, only medical reports. This is what they released, Love and Other Habits, in the repository. This is the exhibit disclosure, and it has the autopsies inside this document. It's not labeled autopsy. It's not. it's inside of a document not labeled autopsy, which it should be. I thought bullets immediately when you said that yesterday. Such an awful, horrible thing to do. Okay, I addressed that one. Who said debris? Uh, look, I'll search this. Okay, this is what was labeled debris in this autopsy that was exposed, not exposed, released to the public. Observation 8 regarding the screening test conducted the debris on the floor from the third bedroom floor and is amended to reflect a weak positive O plus, which is iodine, test when examined at the laboratory. So the debris on the floor in Kaylee's room, debris on the floor was a weak positive. That was some of the leaves that were brought in from outside or an exit. Somebody may have exited through the third floor room, which I'm going to get into that. So that was one debris that was labeled. The other debris, a piece of debris is noted on the floor between the left foot of Madison Mogan and the pillow and indicated by the yellow oval, which we cannot see in this picture, as swabbing of the debris, and the debris itself was tested for presumptive presence of blood. The swabbing of this debris yielded a positive presumptive blood test for blood at the scene, but the OT plus tested a weak positive. Now, this debris that they seem to be talking about that I have mentioned before, you can go back and watch my other streams. I believe these were leaves. We see them on the third floor bedroom in the crime scene pictures. I believe, and I'm going to stand on this until somebody admits it. I believe some of these individuals were attacked outside. I'm going to stand on that hill with my bullhorn, with my little megaphone, until somebody stops playing games and admits that some of these individuals were injured outside. Okay? Injured outside. And the reason I say this is because debris, I've already looked up the terms. I've already looked it up before. I've shared it. I say it's leaves. Now, whether you believe me or not, this crime, I believe, did not happen just inside, in my humble opinion. Not only because now we have staged evidence, we have possibly staged knife sheath, we have staged bodies, we have staged everything. And don't let me get spicy. I like spicy Phoenix too, but I want to keep this focused. I want to keep this 100% real and raw. That is why my lives are not scripted. You're getting the real deal here. Now, the other location debris was said to be found was only in those 5 instances in this report. Okay? So I'm glad I got that off my chest today because I really needed to. So let's go back to incision. Okay? There was an incision and they blacked it out. We don't get to see it. We don't get to see it. Incision is located at the lateral right leg, slightly above the knee. I talked about this yesterday. Why would somebody make, if this is truly an incision, okay, not a stab wound, not a blunt force injury, why would someone make an incision above the knee? I'm asking the chat, why would somebody make an incision above the knee if this is truly an incision? Because remember, incision visible on his knee, not visible in earlier image. They never really said because we haven't seen it. Bedding placed over the incision is what she says. And saturation staining on the blanket. So immediately when he was cut there, they put something on top of his injury. It's not random wording. This paragraph is reconstructing sequence, meaning the injury occurred, bloodshed happened, and then the blanket was placed It happened after. That alone tells investigators we're analyzing timing inside that room. To remove a bullet so they can't walk, to remove something from it, shot, cut ligaments and tendons to slow Ethan down. Parts of the audio says Ethan is deceased out back. I've always believed. It had to happen somewhere else to lure blood in the house. Was Turvey the one who changed the word to debris instead of trace? No. No. He pointed out that the debris was actually evidence. He's the one that pointed out that the debris was actually investigative evidence, exculpatory evidence. Absolutely. There was a report that a person was outside unresponsive. Oh, I've never seen that report. The case gets stranger and stranger. No, Sue, Sleepless in South Africa. It is exposing the cover up. It is exposing the truth. You have to think about this and reframe your mindset. This case is strange, but the truth is revealing what happened in Moscow, Idaho in November of 2022. To stop Ethan from standing up. Yes, to be like hamstrung in the ham. Was the blood there and leaves outside? Didn't say anything for debris on Ethan. But remember, Ethan was found naked. So in order to make an incision, you have to remove pants. Guys, think. I know you guys are the smartest chat in YouTube. I feel like it points to a second attacker warding on the legs as someone else was up top. Yeah, I mean, if you look at all these injuries, everyone was injured from the top up except for Ethan. Not everyone there are based on bloodstains. We can see where they unalived in that house. Yeah, absolutely. It makes so much sense. Why would they cut supposedly post-mortem? Not everyone was post-mortem. Remember, the exploratory wounds were on Kaylee. Yes, I get that. I never believed BK was the killer. Remember, Phoenix, they said there was a person found inside earlier in the case. And I told you, the guy in Maddie's light bulb, you have to remember, there was another person in there. The first victim that they took to the hospital police, possibly. I don't know. I believe that at least 2 people were gunshots. I believe there were probably at least 2. Nora, I remember that. Caleb, hi Phoenix, hi everyone, hi Design Rhythm, welcome in. GB said someone was sent to the hospital too. I've got the video that shows, and the news reporter says, yes, one victim was taken to the hospital. I've shown that over and over. It went viral on the TikTok streets, but maybe Xana walked in during a bullet removal. I can't remember exactly when. I believe the lack of bed is due to being unalived outside and the mess soaked into the soil. I've showed those pictures before. I definitely believe it. And let me just show you something of very important value when I talk about this topic. Let me just show you something. I'm glad y'all brought this up.
Like, we won't fuck with those. Ryan's taping everything off. Warner's starting a crime log. And that's where we're at so far. Okay, thanks.
Looks like they just broke the snow track right
Those
now.
ones?
That door was open, so
This one was?
yeah.
Okay, no one touched it?
No one touched it.
Make sure everybody...
I haven't interviewed anybody. No one touched it.
Did you hear what Snyder said up on the hill? I'll go back.
It looks like. We won't fuck with those. Ryan's taping everything off. Warner's starting a crime log. And that's where we're at so far. Okay, thanks. Right here with you, bud.
Looks like they just broke the
It
snow
looks
track.
like
Those
there's
ones?
a footprints in the snow tracks right here where he's standing. So did somebody park out back and that is the escape route? familiar with this area. Now, I'll go back.
You won't fuck with those. Ryan's taping everything off. Warner's starting the crime log. And that's where we're at so far.
Okay, I'll be here.
Okay, thanks.
He was on the phone with Tyson Barrett. See it on his phone? That is his captain.
Right here with you, bud.
That's a steep escape route.
Looks like we missed go.
You see where he's standing. That is not that steep on the side of the house. He is on the side of the house, not in the back. That back parking lot, they taped off the next day. Remember our Ted guy, the reporter defense attorney?
Snow track.
There's snow tracks right up here. Now, I'm not saying that the Moscow Police Department is corrupt. I'm not saying that at all, because I'm going to show you something that may make sense to some of you. It may not make sense to some of you, but I'm going to show you anyways, because I want you to stay open-minded to everything we have seen in this case. A lot of people are asking, why would this be of national security? Why? Why would this be of national security? I would not say the MPD covered up. I would say perhaps they were encouraged to make a different narrative, to protect something. Now, you might have seen this video. I am going to explain something to you after this, and we're going to get back into it. Here we go.
While it's a real name, Jeffrey Epstein, and he has a real birth certificate and grew up in a real way, the picture that is presented to the world is not authentic. He wasn't a billionaire. What he was is a construct. For one thing, his earning path is highly suspect. Money, wealth, private jet, private island, fun, not married, young girls, lots of things. The money, $500 million of money came from Les Wexner, who's a wealthy guy who owns Victoria's Secret, big donor to the state of Israel. And $500 million was transferred to Epstein along with power of attorney to use it and invest it in the ways he saw fit. I'm mildly wealthy, but I'm not sending you $500 million. I'll tell you that. The idea that you're doing this is itself extraordinary, but it was probably the funding mechanism for this construct. The more you dig into this 3 million documents so far, and videos, by the way, and photographs, there's a lot of material there. Why in the world would anybody say, well, there are national security implications to some of this content? That's why some things are redacted. What would that be? It was an intelligence operation.
Did you all hear that? This construct, this narrative was made, and we've seen in the documents, national security. Okay? You have to think of this in a bigger picture. Don't just think of this murder. Don't just think of MPD. Don't just think of the ISP. Don't just think of Latah County Sheriffs. Don't just think of, FBI. Don't just think about the Department of Justice. Think bigger for 1 second. Listen to what he said again.
In the ways he saw fit. I'm mildly wealthy, but I'm not sending you $500 million. I'll tell you that. But it was probably the funding mechanism for this construct. The more you dig into this 3 million documents so far, and videos, by the way, and photographs, there's a lot of material there. Why in the world would anybody say, well, there are national security implications to some of this content? That's why some things are redacted. What would that be? It was an intelligence operation. Why the U.S. government is reluctant to be more transparent. Some of it is national security. Some of it is, let's imagine, an ally of ours is involved in that operation.
So you believe that he was an intelligence asset, and it sounds like you believe he was an intelligence asset potentially by a U.S. ally.
Yes.
So who is that ally?
Israel.
You believe that Epstein was an Israel intelligence asset?
Yes, I do. And Ghislaine Maxwell, just for additional background, but everybody can find it. Her father was an Israeli intelligence asset who was so revered. His funeral ceremony was held in Israel, was attended by the prime minister, by I think the last 4 or 5, by every living head of Mossad attended. And there were words used in eulogies like he did things for Israel that the world will never know about. There's a lot of good connection there and a lot of good connective tissue, some of which I've shared with you because it's public and some of which I'm not sharing. But that is indeed what I believe, yes.
Okay, so there's a little bit more to this, but let's stop it there because I want you to open your mind a little bit further. And I want you to think intelligence operation. We've seen Homeland Security. We've seen Homeland Security go interview some of these people. But we're talking about not just trafficking. We're not just talking about drugs. We're not just talking about corn. We're not just talking about, on a little scale. We're talking massive scale. And when you look at the IDAHO4, it check marks a lot of the same things in some other cases that we've seen. And that is what brought me to share with you Take Back Operation America almost a year and a half ago. And this is what I've seen over and over in some cases. They're talking about foreign involvement. They're talking about cryptocurrency. They're talking about drug money. They're talking about the Sonora cartel. They're talking about trafficking. They're talking about all kinds of things. Okay? And these operations have been taking place without us even realizing it. And now that you know, my question is, and I made a video the other day, this case gets darker. It gets much darker. Evil, sinister. Was Ethan tortured? Was there incisions made above his knees by I don't know who? Remember, we're not claiming to know. We're just taking this look at this investigation. What do you think the medical examiner was trying to establish with this tiny paragraph about Ethan's incisions? What do you think when you see incisions versus stab wounds, incised wounds? In the book Incised Wounds, that is what Christopher Whitcomb used. But the medical professional, medical examiner said incision. She also did use some incised wounds, stab wounds. She did. But what do you all think of this one tiny word? All this stuff. But one thing that led me down this rabbit hole is that somebody was saying that he had been slashed. Were they doing experimental? I think just along the lines Love and Other Habits, it was purposely done. Tons of corruption. But remember, Ethan was a Chad. Ethan was a Chad. He was attracting, all the women wanted to be with Ethan. Ethan was just like Xana, right? Think about it. People keep talking about he's a Chad or something like that, right? I'm like, what does that mean? A Chad is a slang word for a confident, attractive, and socially successful man, often depicted as the alpha male in the internet culture. So Ethan was athletic. it says this term was originated in 1990s to early 2000s, way after I was out of the dating game. So upper class young men, urban men, and single from an affluent neighborhoods. It's associated with preppy, popular, jock-like men, sometimes referred as humorously or satirically in local culture. A female counterpart of a Chad was sometimes called Trixie or Stacy. So it was a popular term within the frats, a Chad. Alpha, yes, absolutely. And why did they do this? This is like overkill, in my humble opinion. Like Jack the Ripper, it was overkill. You know, there is some terms in terminology in the medical world that talks about things like this. You know, it just blows my mind. This was indeed overkill. Absolutely. And I'll share with you the autopsy book that I usually refer to is this postmortem external and macroscopic examination. I mean, you know, I was in nursing school. I've got an affinity, I guess, for anatomy and physiology. But why cut an incision on Ethan's right knee? Was it to stop him, or was it somebody that did not like he was a good athlete? Just like someone was jealous of Kaylee's teeth, or someone didn't like the way Kaylee looked, or because Kaylee was pretty, or because Madison was said to be a princess. Or was this intentional? Was this torture? That's the question that I ask. Because if Ethan was so good at sports, like we know he was, and good looking, and all the girls wanted to be with him, and something in that house, I mean, I'm telling you, there was love triangles left and right. I'm sure it was way beyond just the house. But it does have jealousy all over it. It does. It reeks of revenge and jealousy. It does to me, unless there's a serial unaliver in that area. But this feels more of a rebellious, revengeful overkill, hatred. Ethan made inappropriate hoke jokes poked at other frat kids' mom the weekend before. Was it revenge? What? Who's saying that? Ooh. Oh, I don't know about that. Now, this is a very interesting comment, Love and Other Habits, because if this is true, that would explain some of the blood splatter where there shouldn't be diluted blood splatter. And also, if they did, they've left a contaminated crime scene. We talked about that the other day, too. I learn something new every day. So do I. Never stop learning. Where they took their last picture, yeah, there was. And that is so weird, too, because that's just leading you astray to a contaminated crime scene. My darn Wi-Fi is driving me insane. I'm so sorry. They had a stingray in the area. They didn't want to talk about it. I'm sure if there was some type of surveillance. Yeah. But he was also a gamer. Yeah, I bet. I mean, think about it. He wasn't doing too well in school. And gaming stimulates the brain. It keeps you active and going and going and going. Right? And if he was hurting in school with his grades, he wasn't going to be able to stay in the frat house. He had to move out. They had taken a while to plan this. Absolutely. That's why I said it was premeditated. Absolutely. Some of the videos, it does seem that way. Wow. Yeah, I remember that. It was personal and a group effort in multiple perps like a small gang. Well, I don't know if this small gang would eventually lead to 4 individuals unalive that were allegedly left their frats and sororities for odd reasons. Well, they said his grades were improving, but never seen, anything of that source. So I was just asking, and maybe something to eat with the rituals. I don't know about that. Evil and sinister, perhaps. I heard the same rumor about Ethan taking inappropriate photos. Absolutely agree jealousy was a factor, says Inked Mama. Serious rage was present as well. Absolutely. The experts can just take a look at it and say, oh my God, right? What happened? Well, the autopsy reveals incisions. And incisions in medical terms is used by a precise surgical weapon. Now, if we break it down, incision, incised wound, stab wound, laceration, a stab wound goes inward, an incised wound slices across. An incision is often a clean cut. So even if Ethan would have survived his wounds, what would happen if this incision was made in your upper knee? What would happen? Does anybody know? I know I have some nurses in here. I know I do have nurses in here that would know the answer to this. What would happen if there was an incision in your upper knee, and let's just say you survived the attack? What would happen to that knee? All right, we're staying focused on the topic today. It is torture. Were any of these victims tortured? We're looking at the autopsy wording. Wording matters. They simply didn't say a stab wound. In this autopsy, there were other record of stab wound. So I'll go back to that and I will show you where she lists stab wounds, so you all can see this too. All right, here it is. This is redacted S1 through 13. It is not listed as an autopsy. You have to dig down, and there is stab wounds to the chest, Maddie Mogan. And Maddie Mogan also says incision of the nasal septum. Somebody made a cut, incision. So yes, she does use stab wounds and incised wounds. They're very different. Very different. He would have nerve damage, no more sports for Ethan, immobile, amputation. Yes. He couldn't move. He wouldn't be able to support infection. Absolutely. He would probably, if he did survive, he would have been amputated. That leg would have been amputated and no more sports if he had survived. Was it perhaps speculation that somebody made an incised wound and trying to get information out of him? Is that a possibility? Most of you, some of you have heard of Operation Torture. Drop a 1 if you've heard of Operation Torture. Drop a 1. Yep, never be able to play sports again. And remember, you have to have your clothes totally off if you are doing an incision. And the way that it sounds, they placed the blanket right on top of that incision as soon as it was done. Operation Torture. Has anybody heard of it? So the CIA, after 9/11, basically put this operation in effect. There's a whistleblower that I showed the book club the other day in regards to Operation Torture. And this operation basically was to enhance interrogation with obviously the Middle East, with the people that they captured. And the tortures report reveals that basically the U.S. went and tortured these individuals, but they learned new ways to torture individuals. They learned new ways from this 10-year project. And the whistleblower of the torture report, let me see if I can get a video. It was right after 9/11. 10 years, more than 6,000 pages long. There was a film about it. Adam Driver starred in a film about it. It remains classified and shielded from public scrutiny and accountability, but the Senate report on the CIA torture, intelligence, detention, and interrogation program. And the whistleblower operative, obviously he's in prison for punishment, but it is a true story. And basically, where is that video I showed you the other day? Hold on, let me see if I can find it again. Espionage techniques that terrified the world. Let me see if I can find it. This guy, John, he speaks about the torture report, the torture program. I don't know if you all have seen. I don't know if you've ever heard about this, but this is actually factual. This is wild. He is a whistleblower. Here we go. Let's see if this will work. See if I can put this up on the screen.
Yeah. He made one single mistake. He accessed his emails with a landline.
John,
that was it.
I was killing people because of their SIM cards.
See?
2005.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they learned, though. They learned quick.
Yeah, they did.
And we adapted. But yeah, it's, these NSA databases and just data farms that are showing up and all had locations, and it's like, every single we're not looking through it though. We're just storing it.
Right.
Yeah, you're not looking
just
through it
in
right
case.
now.
Yeah, then why do you need this gigantic facility in Utah that you've built?
Because we might need to look at it later.
Yeah.
And then depending on who's throwing
without
the
a warrant, by the way.
That's the biggest thing that bugs me. Either the Constitution matters or it doesn't. Either it means something to be an American, and I truly still believe that we can be a beacon to the world, but we don't do that by
No, I don't know why that's not playing. Are you guys hearing anything when I play that video? Anyone? But that's basically the whistleblower in the torture report. I mean, you can go and you can watch him. And basically, I showed a video real quick. It was a segment on, testing, text, all kinds of other things. The first thing they tell you to do, you heard the audio. Okay, you heard the audio. But you guys can go and look that up. I mean, there's plenty of, some great videos out there in regards to this. But let's get back to the subject, because we're looking at incised wound. Was somebody torturing Ethan for information? Was Ethan a CI? Was Ethan, and these are all speculative, right? Because we look at the writer of using the formal medical language. She would have probably put, if it was a stab wound, like I was showing you before, she would have put stab wound. Let me share this screen once again to the autopsy. And you can definitely see for yourself that she didn't. What do they know that they're hiding? Was Ethan tortured? Well, we could probably say by looking at this, perhaps some of these 4chan posts early on were probably true, because we've seen that both of the survivors, both of the victims, were actually texting. We know that to be true now. There's so much more that I have caught in regards to statements. It's going to take me, a week to make more videos on all the discrepancies that I've caught And that's why I like to do lives. I'm just going to edit these lives and throw up a couple of videos. But who would have done this to these individuals? This is not frat. This is not cartel. This is something evil, dark, and sinister. Who would do this to Maddie? Not just stab and incised wounds, but incision in the nasal septum. To me, that feels like a form of torture. I don't know about you. I don't know if you look deep into these findings. Stab wounds to the abdomen, incised and puncture wounds of the back. Guys, okay, this is like, just reading some of these things. And Ethan was the only one besides Maddie that had incisions. So I can understand that they wanted to slow Ethan down if they did a stab wound, but this says incision. This to me shows that this possibly did not happen just inside this house. Okay? That's my humble opinion. My opinion. You guys can believe what you want, but I think this just took a darker twist. And they are trying to hide this. The family is trying to hide this. I would be so pissed off at this point. I would be like, you need to tell the truth, and you need to tell the truth now. But you know what? I think some of these families were trying to get it out there that this is such the biggest cover-up. Even family members that have reached out to me that I refuse to have any conversations with. All they keep telling me is this is such BS. This is such BS. This is all BS. Yes. So it just made me look a little bit deeper at what happened to these 4 individuals. Who would be so experienced in this type of torture, if that's the case, because we are speculating, who would do that? The leg matters. The leg is for mobility, tendons, arteries. It's athlete physiology. That's like mental torture. If you know that you are good at sports and you want, maybe you want a scholarship. Maybe you want to try out and play in the team, or who knows? That is like more mental, to cut my leg open. Well, I know that I'm an athlete and I'm strong and I'm healthy. That's like mental torture, right? We don't know the depth or the severity of this wound, but it's disabling. It's struggle related, incidental, defensive, chaotic pattern. No, none of those last 4. It's disabling. Even if someone receives a sharp force injury in the leg during a chaotic moment, like a stabbing or a fight, do you think it was intentional targeting or random movement? Remember, they said that this was targeted. It was targeted, and I believe it was targeted towards Ethan. That's what I believe. It was said in the book and through various reports that Ethan may have been using cocaine. There is a connection there that I've talked about before. If you haven't seen the Emma Bailey arrest, go watch those. Just Google Emma Bailey arrest. She was the connection to all these frats for possibly cocaine. And that was said by someone who was investigated about Caden Young's death. Caden Young was the young frat president, I believe, alleged, that was investigating what happened to Ethan and maybe what happened to Hudson Lindo. And I showed you Hudson Lindo's report with the Idaho state courts. He had some type of known run-in with the police with substances, And his whole record was just wiped away. No, it was weird. And that's what I look for when I think informant, in my opinion. So did Ethan know about Hudson's death? Possible. It was said, it was rumored. Possible. Is this what happened to Ethan? Ethan was looking and maybe going to come forward and they took it out on Ethan? Possible. But this incision, this wound, is more mental than anything. Tell us who you are. I want to know everything that you know. What did Maddie say? What do you know? Who are you going to talk to? That's what I hear in my mind when I think if they tortured Ethan. What comes to your mind when I say that? What's the first thing that comes to your mind when I say the word torture? How would cocaine lead to Ethan's death? The connection? What did Ethan know? Was Ethan going to tell on whoever was doing this? Was Ethan going to be the one who exposed the frats and the dealing and everything that was happening with all these unexplained deaths? Is that a possibility? We may never know. Yeah, that was Caden Young. That was Caden Young. And I believe that after Hudson and after Ethan, I believe that Caden flew down from Boise, in Chris's own words. When you watch the video of what happened to Emma Bailey, Chris, Caden's friend, gives up Emma Bailey and Demetrius. But Caden Young flew intentionally down there. Did they recruit Caden Young to go be an informant too? And they gave him some coke with fent? Maybe that's the way that they were taking care of all their loose ends. If they thought you were an informant or a snitch, maybe they gave you the bad coke, right? Control over him, very personal attack, agony, betrayal, screaming. Absolutely. It is over the top, but this is how, this is not cartel operations, folks. This is definitely not how the cartel, no. They'll hang you out, cut your tongue out, leave you burned up somewhere. Totally different. This was torture to get information, in my opinion. In my opinion. And after they made the incisions, you know, the surgical cuts, maybe even subdued him, tied him up, maybe something, I don't know. This is all speculation. This is all speculation. Not from what they've told us. Don't you think that maybe they're hiding some more? Rumor was it that Ethan was drunk and running his mouth and he started saying things he was supposed to. Oh, could be. Could be. The real snake. I don't overanalyze the torture details. Torture is torture. You don't need to attend a class or be a mill oga. Your imagination and $50 budget at Lowe's are all you need. Yeah, I mean, think about it. I mean, you see videos of people committing crime and they talk about torture. They go and they buy rope and the basics and some plastic, some tarps, and you can do whatever you use your imagination, right? This isn't a cartel. Cartels don't leave witnesses. They don't cover up bodies. They don't, no. Mm-mm. Phoenix, can you look into a certain picture? Picture 942, upper right corner, looks like Ethan's leg in the mirror. I usually don't do this, but I will look since I have the pictures up. 942, hold on a minute. Upper right. They redacted all these, by the way, so 942. Bingo. 942. Hold on a second. That is... I've got... That's 942. Hold on. 942 in the mirror. Wow. Wow, you've got eagle eyes. You've got some eagle eyes. I don't know. I'll show this picture. I don't know. I do not know. But wow. Now there's some things I've seen like in the front room on the outlet, there's blood there. Nobody ever talks about the blood on the, what is one of those things you plug? The extension cord. No one's ever talked about the blood on the extension cords. There's other blood spatter in, the third floor. And even Gunderson says, "Oh my God, that's cast off." Let me load this picture up for you guys watching. My intention is not to show anything graphic. I'm going to give you a warning. You guys can interpret this picture the way you see fit, but I am going to show it up on the screen, so I'm going to give you a real quick warning. Everyone, there's a warning. There is a warning. And I can even enlarge this photo. I'm going to show you the basic photo. That is 942. She's asking in the upper right corner, looks like Ethan's leg in the mirror. Now, I don't know why they would stand him up like that. I have the original photo drop. I got to review those again sometime soon. Okay. Yeah, Ethan didn't even have his own phone on the bed. I think the killers messed up whose phone was whose, and they just threw him in there. Blood spatter on the bag of chips and on the bar cart. Absolutely. I've seen that. I've seen some other blood splatter on the third floor on the luggage. You have to look at the reflections learned. Yep, pay attention. And that's the reflection of the guy in the window. So I've taken a further screenshot. This is an additional further warning. If you don't want to see this, please look away. I'll edit this out. It does look like it is possibly someone injured on that leg. Possibly. Now, I don't know if that's a book or a cart or something that they've tried to black out. It's possibly something else. I don't know. When you look at it a little closer, it maybe looks like, let me look if I can see something else in the reflection of the mirror to benchmark it against. Hold on. Let me see if I can see anything else. They blacked it out of here. I'm going to show you this screen instead. They have blacked it out of here and up on the wall. I don't know why they would black this up out on the wall, which is odd. Why would they black that out on the wall? Because if you're looking at the wall from inside, what would be up on the wall? Let me go back. What would be up on the wall on that side that they keep blacking out? That picture of the girl? Hold on, let me see. Up in the corner, they keep blacking it out. Nope, something's up there. It's not the girl. What is up there? Ugh, freaking A. I bet you that is the gunshot. What the hell? Look at this picture when I blow up. I was talking about Stain J the other day on our book club. Holy freaking moly. Do you guys see that? Tell me you can't see that. They blacked it out in some of them. They forgot to redact it on this one. It is the depiction of the person in the mirror, but look right beside it. It looks like they have either photoshopped over this, blurred it. What in the hell? It's got to be a freaking firearm. And this is exactly why, holy cow. I was digging into this yesterday and I thought I'm going to use this probably in the next couple of streams. Look at this. What was so important? Now, remember, I asked for the forensics reports. I did a FOIA. I got them. They released them on Halloween. But in the reports, what was so important? Okay. What was so important that they needed to go from let me get the page that I was working on. From the 16th, I got the notes for ISP, by the way. They were working on the reports. And what happened from the 15th to the 16th that they had to go back and add on the reports ballistic and firearm report. Was this a telephone game that they were told, okay, listen, they were all stabbed. Nothing was ever mentioned about being shot other than the news crews. Okay? Other than the news crews. They had to go back. Let me pull these reports up so you can see them. They had to go back and test more stains on. They even had to get another form because they were out of these forms, because the original form they needed to add on to. They checked firearms the next day. The first day, it was all about stabbing. The next day, they even checkmarked firearms. What happened overnight when these investigators from ISP went in and now they were investigating firearms? So that is why, oh, that makes fucking sense. Ooh, I'm going to get spicy. That is why 2 individuals are under a federal investigation. Holy moly, that would make sense. I kept asking, why are these other 2 individuals on a different investigation? Separate than this? Separate, totally separate, guys. Wow. Okay, let me pull up these forensics. That is such a good catch. Who told me to go and look at that? That is the actual picture. I don't think that that is a leg, in my opinion. Unless, hold on, let me go back to these pictures real quick. I don't think that that is a leg. Could be. Let me just take a peek at something. And this is still a warning in effect, guys. I'm going through these pictures. I'm looking at what it could possibly be. And it's about right here. So it would be next to the desk on this side. They've redacted it. It possibly could be. I'm just saying possibly. I don't know for sure. I'll go through these photos again, but that is a very good catch. If they sat him up, that would be his right knee. If they sat him up to remove him from the bed and they took pictures, that would be his right knee. Right here, where you see that, they have blacked it out. But I don't see possibly where else. I would have to get another look. Hold on. See, that was Xana's phone found on Ethan, and Ethan's phone was under Xana. So somebody gave the wrong phones to the bodies. I do not see where that could be. I've always wondered about this one. Why does this person have 3 legs? Look at this. This is the person picking up this body, maybe. That is the guy picking up something. He's got booties on his pants, on his leg. I don't know what that picture, this black piece right here. 3 legs, yeah. 3-legged individual. That might have been a leg, y'all. That might have been a leg that was off the side of the bed. Yeah. Wow. Wow. That's just crazy. There it is again. Not redacted. They definitely have plaster, and it looks like something's over the cover too. It looks like they've even made it right at the top of this one butterfly on this picture of the girl. It is over that whole wall behind it. It looks like maybe, wow. Wow. If somebody was to, at that angle, let me look at the reports. Let me go back and look at the reports real quick now that I've just gotten totally off track. Hold on a minute. Let me look. This is, oh, hold on. What page was I at? Uh, 695. Hold on. Let me go to 695. Okay, these are the handwritten notes. Yeah, I want to know what happened that they had to go back from one day to the next, and then on these reports they added ballistics, forensics, and more. The next day they go back. This is Xana's description of the room. BE bloodstains, hot, not to scale. That would be the bed, and this would be the wall all the way to the top. BE. So I wonder why BE. BE. DE. DE. B. They don't have it in here. I don't see BE. And they used a lot of this consumptive. They used all the blood that they found in these testings. BE. I'll have to look. Let me write that down. BE. GF. BE. Primarily elliptical stains, distribution in a conceal pattern, smaller end of cone on the right, larger area of cone high. Some circular stains whose distribution may be unlinear. One large stain whose orientation nearby straight up and down. It appears to flow down the wall gravity, and numerous smaller circular stains what volume appears to be pulled down by gravity. Ooh, interesting. Numerous primarily stains upper right area, numerous smaller volume stains, a short area of flow with gravity, BE. Yeah, I want to know why the date of these clearly states that they had to go back, and then they clicked firearms, blunt weapons, sharp weapons, DNA, latents, electronics, ownership, drug paraphernalia, and trace hair fiber and shavings. That's what trace is, not debris. Okay? Yeah, absolutely. I'll take a look at anything. But yeah, it probably looks like perhaps. And this is something very interesting that I've talked about before, folks. Remember, Hunter Johnson and Emily Allant were never cleared of bloody fingerprints on the L5, L6 sliding door. If it is accurate, which we've seen from forensics, one of them had to have opened the door and the other one shut the door. So that is not me speculating. That is what the forensics documents have said. I went over those before. We did a live a little while back. You can go and look at their fingerprints. You can go and see what it says. So I think it's very interesting that some of these questions that are finally starting to come up 6 months, 8 months later are things that we did cover. Now, I've covered this when Steve Goncalves says that at 2:15, I mean, I've showed this video time and time again. At 2:15, Hunter says he's trying to get into the room. Well, get into the room for what? And the door was blocked. Okay? I don't know. We're still trying to put this piece together. We come here to find the truth. Please come back to the picture after the 3 legs. It looks like we have a head of an animal. Okay, I'll come back to that. Under the bed. Thanks, Caleb. All right, I'll take a look at that too. But what was such interesting facts is that the next day they come back and then they hit firearms. This was Detective Talbot. This was the day before on the 19th. This was the 16th with Janie Ayers. I've talked about Janie Ayers before. And they had to go back and they said, well, now we need to go do something else. They have also redacted this in this document of the Prius that they searched, Eric Gower's car, that they searched at the garage of Moscow. And that unredacted, there is an unredacted document out there. And I found that, and it basically just gives the coordinates to the garage, and it doesn't say anything else. It gives GPS coordinates and the address of the actual garage where they did the search. Here it is. Hold on. It's unredacted. Where did it go? It's in a breakdown. Hold on. Here it is. I think this is it. Yes. The Prius GPS coordinates 46 degrees, yada, yada, yada. And it gives the address of the location of the garage in which they did the search of the car, and they found nothing of note. So all those videos going around about Eric Gower, it is suspicious, but they found nothing in his car, according to these documents. So that is the unredacted, and this is the actual document redacted. So very interesting stuff in some of these reports. And I talked about Stain J in the autopsy report. All right. So now that we went on that little tangent, now you know a little bit more. There is Hunter and E sitting on a boulder, and it shows Hunter's Nike shoe sole, and it looks like the shoe print on Xana's floor to me. Wow. I've never seen that. I will definitely go down that rabbit hole and check. There was fentanyl in the cocaine. Yeah, it was already said. That picture's horrible. I think it's under the bag. It's not posted. Yeah. So I gave you a warning. I'm not going to show any more pictures, but let's get back into the incision and why this matters. All right. You guys got some eagle eyes in here. So it doesn't, I mean, they do say, the experts say there was some staging, but what catches my attention in this autopsy is they cared enough to document this specifically. And that means blood patterns likely mattered, okay? Because it says in the incision, which depicts his body prior to removal of the blanket and comforter. They don't show us this, but they say saturation stains are noted on the pink comforter in image ISP. So did somebody torture Ethan? Were they trying to get some information out of him? Were they, and they incised, they made an incision, a cut in his knee, knowing that if they made this cut, even if he survived, his leg may have had to be amputated. That to me is mental torture, knowing that you are an athlete, good looking guy, and maybe you might have to be amputated if you survive this. Well, obviously, we know he did not survive this. His parents got a second autopsy, and I would love to know that. And it's becoming a big legal battle with Iwu in the court documents. So here's the speculative theory, since we're on this discussion. I don't think it was an accidental struggle with the injury or stabbing, okay, because the victim would move. It would be not a incision. An attacker would rapidly strike. This is the horrible things that these four endured was, in fact, overkill. Targeted and overkill. The leg was targeted intentionally. That's my theory. Able to disable movement. It was a non-fatal injury, in my humble opinion. Ethan could have survived if just incised, just an incision. Incised wounds is already, he's been stabbed. This infliction is before the fatal injuries. Sequence matters, folks. Way overkill. Sequence matters. And when you start looking at the autopsy, when you start looking at the evidence, every single time we find something new together, this is a chaotic overkill pattern. There had to be more than 2 individuals. Multiple wounds, random placement, and a frenzy. Did they get the information they wanted and then they went overkill? Was Ethan telling them something they needed to cover their butts? I don't know. We're theorizing. We're asking the questions. And then they covered up the post-injury interaction. Bedding moved after bloodshed, emotional or concealment response of the killers or the cleaner-uppers. They didn't want to see the bodies' faces and they covered them up. Here's important. Something very important. We're not saying that torture occurred. We're not even saying the intent is proven. We're asking the forensics questions. Why did the medical examiner write incision? And in other areas, clearly they wrote incised and stab wounds. Why is that? Was the medical examiner trying to tell us something? Is that why the medical examiner no longer examines for this county and they've had to build $1 million and get their own medical examiner? Someone would have to be either skilled in an incision or maybe studying in that field. Now, I'm going to do a speed round of questions. Listen closely. Listen closely. 1-word answers only. Random or targeted? You answer. Random or targeted? Yes. Okay, I think we're all on the same page. I love it. All right, next word. I for incidental, D for deliberate. Just drop an initial. I or D. Incidental or deliberate. In regards to the incision. Deliberate. I would agree. Not random. Answer the next one. Chaos or control in regards to the incision. Chaos or control? This one's a tricky one. Control. Yeah, I think it was controlled. Remember, chaos would have been stabbings all around. This was a incision prior to the fatal wounds. Control, chaos, controlled. To control and subdue the victim. Yes, Inked Mama, I believe so. Or it could have been Grammy Tammy. You're right. Chaotic control. Chaotic control. Here's the last one. Well, second to the last. I wrote down, in regards to the incision, was it covering or staging? It's a tricky one. Covering or staging? I'm here to help control. Oh, that's good too. Wow. You guys are on the spot tonight. Staging control. Could the injuries be a signature? Possibly. Possibly. Didn't Chris say that there was specific cuts made? Specific? A little bit of both. Both. Yeah, but in regards to the incision, if you think about it, covered or staged, they covered it up and then the scene was staged. So you have to really think about it. And here's the last one. Do you think this, in regards to the incision, do you think it's important or overlooked? Important or overlooked? It's the power of wording. I definitely believed overlooked. The early rumors that these kids were tortured may be true. I mean, this report came out a while ago and I haven't seen anybody really talk about it. And I went down the rabbit hole when Chris Whitcomb said there were cuts that were could be, and I'm not going to use his words, but could be signature. Absolutely overlooked and very important. I would agree to both. Because the power of the wording, police wording matters, autopsy wording matters, medical words matter, incision versus a stab wound, those create different mental pictures. And I've just walked everyone through that. Now, I understand why they are trying to hide these pictures, these videos, and I respect that from the family's perspective. I can totally respect this now that I've seen with my own two eyes, going deeper down the rabbit hole of the autopsy to say incision. And I'm not saying we all have to be like, no, show us the pictures, show us the video clip, show us everything, because maybe we don't need to know everything, guys. Maybe we don't need to see everything for our own safety. Because just in this last stream, this last hour and 38 minutes, I can't believe we've been here that long. The little things that I just pointed out and showed you paints a whole different picture to how dark this was, how evil this could be, and do we really need to see that? I ask myself this every day. I'll ask the unthinkable questions, but do I really need to see this? No. Does anybody else really need to see that? Well, that's for you to decide. We all have free will. This case has engaged so many people emotionally, mentally, physically. Guys, you have to protect yourself at the end of the day. I know I can only handle so much every day. But these words that I've shown you, they create different mental pictures on what happened to these victims. In investigations, sometimes the loudest clues are not what's shouted. It's the ones that are quietly worded. One unusual word can send investigators down an entirely different road. We wouldn't have known this if no one showed you. So here's the bigger question tonight. Investigators know more about this case. The photos could prove what we believe to be true, but don't know if I'd really want to see them. The scene reconstruction is very difficult. They are telling us this happened in the house. I'm not seeing that happened in the house. I'm not seeing that at all. What I see and what I hear, in my opinion, happening in the house is the after this all took place. It's the bringing the bodies back. It's all the after, because the screaming that you hear could possibly be someone that is in shock. Oh my God, they killed him. Oh my God. That could have been anyone in the house reacting to what they're being seen, what they're being showed. No one has proved that all these 4 died in this house. We don't see that. But the scene reconstruction is very difficult. If you were watching Birdie last night, kudos to Birdie. Kudos to Birdie. Because in those videos he's showing you is the reconstruction of maybe how they got back to the house. Not that it happened there. Think about that for a minute. All these cars coming in that we've never seen before. It was like a parade. It was like a parade, all these cars coming back to the house. If you watch them at all, go back and watch the videos that the police recreated of the outside cameras. Do you think the wording matters? The public rarely sees the full forensic context. We're only getting a portion. Autopsy terminology is pretty standard. The placement of the bedding matters. Tonight wasn't about claiming answers. We're looking for the truth. It wasn't about asking why certain details matter. It was, actually. It was about asking why certain details matter. That one little word for Maddie and Ethan. Why would somebody put an incision on Maddie's nose? That one little word, incision, and all of a sudden, timing matters, bedding matters, blood patterns matter, reconstruction matters. That's what real investigation is, not jumping to conclusions, but refusing to ignore the details. Because, like I've always said, sometimes the smallest wording creates the biggest questions. And here at Phoenix Talks, we keep asking those questions. Stay curious, stay grounded, and never stop looking closer. I've got about 15 minutes. If you guys want to do a live dig, I'll open it up. I know some people have asked questions. Everyone has asked different questions. If you have a question, drop it in the chat right now, and I will give you that time. They never told us about these things. Absolutely not. They're not going to tell you guys. This wording matters. Incision. And like I showed you before, do you think the truth will ever be told? Maybe in 10, 15 years, maybe. But if we keep speeding it up, we're going to get answers faster. The video from Birdie was just showed how they were staging. Well, I mean, I've always said those videos that they released and Jules shared, I've always said that it seems like some clips were missing, right? I was the one that said, wait a minute, something is not right with these clips. Remember back in the days, this is the one that, one of the ones that I made. Guys, this is crazy. I'm glad you mentioned this because believe it or not, when Birdie and I started back in the day, I talked about this. We went down these rabbit holes before, and this was one of the ones that caught my eye, right? I mean, I caught this guy in slow motion, but look at the people behind him. And then watch how Birdie is sharing the clips. You see Payne walk up the stairs and act like he goes into the house. And this is the one clip. Or perhaps I played this super slow because there is something here I want you to see. See in the shadow behind him on the window next door? I often wondered if there was another person behind him, or maybe the video glitched, or perhaps there was somebody behind him, or maybe two people behind him. So I played it super slow. Caleb, guess what? What? He gives a signal. Caleb, type it up. Hurry up before I move on. Yes, it looks like a person. Yes. Backpacks are now being used by, oh yeah, that's the key word. Yeah. That is in that other case. Absolutely. Okay, so let's watch him. This is a guy up front. Tiptoe, tiptoe, tiptoe. Check out right behind him in slow motion. It glitches. It glitches just for a second, and then it is scrubbed. Now, I don't know why they needed to scrub this, but I'm going to go back. I'm going to let it play. Smoothing, blur, whatever they call it. Okay. Very suspicious. I played this super slow because there is something here. So there is a lot that they have cut out, and there is a lot that's muted. I said that this always probably went down between 12:45 and 2:39, 3 o'clock, and it was muted. Oh, it was muted. Okay, so did you hear it with sound? Definitely somebody was behind him. Don't know who it was. Do you guys hear me now? Is there sound? Oh, I've got more on Chicken Man. I've got so much more. I've got something very interesting. I'll drop those videos today. And next week I'll be out for 2 days. So I will have some premiere videos while I'm gone in lieu of a live stream. So I'm going to be dropping, I'm going to be dropping out one about Chicken Guy. And Kai Davis is very a concern, because if you remember when we went over BK's, let me just pull it up real quick. When we went over BK's witness list, the witness list is very telling on the defense side, folks. If you've never looked at the witness list, highly recommend it. It is extremely telling. Let me pull it up real quick. Let me grab that for you. So looking at this witness list compared to the state's witness list, you can definitely see some oddities, very odd, in who BK was bringing to the stand and who, here it is, let me share this one, and obviously who they were bringing to the list. So 3 people that stick out in my mind that they're bringing. Obviously, Adam Latta was one of the frats. And all the rest of these people, there was a sorority, Ava Wood, Bethany, obviously. And if you start looking, Braden Jensen was JD's said to be roommate, but not his direct roommate. Braden Paulo was the frat president of another frat. But when you start looking at the list. Obviously, Emily Allant and Hunter Johnson was on there, and Dylan. But you start seeing some other Jack Decor. And those are the people that you want to focus on. Jenna McClure, Joseph VDOT, Joe VDOT. Why would Joe VDOT be called in for Brian Koberger? Remember the guy at the grub truck was said to be holding a camera? Why would Joe VDOT be called as a witness for the defense? Chicken guy is Angus Assidius, whatever his name is. He was not on the defense list. Not on it. Yeah, we don't know if Chicken Boy did it or not. But whoever was bleeding down, remember I talked about this on our book club. You guys really need to join our book club. Anybody here from the book club, I'm telling you, shout out that freaking book club. Broken Plea Book Club is spot on. Remember I talked about these on the Broken Plea. This J stain on the handrail going down the stairs. And the other one was going downstairs, the main floor to the bottom basement. Those stains had never been tested that we are aware of. And if somebody was cut on the right hand and they walked down that entire banister, they left blood evidence. Was it tested? Those are some things that are not talked about in the book, folks. Those are some things that are not talked about in the book that are in the state's exhibits disclosures. There is so much more that you are missing out on in regards to the Idaho 4 case if you are not in the book club. All right. Now, if you go back to the witness list for Brian Koberger, there is some interesting people like Joe VDOT, guy at the grub truck. Some of these other people we've already talked about, but Kai Davis is on that list. Why would Kai Davis be going on for the defense? Why? So odd. So odd. You just got to look at some of these names. Mason Bangman, the guy who was arrested in Caldwell for drugs outside of Nampa, Idaho, outside of Boise, Idaho. He's a big part of the frat movement, guys. Big part of what was going on. If you don't know, you know now. So look, Quinn Kelly shows up on the defense list. What did Quinn know? What were they going to ask him on the stand? Interesting. Tim DeWolf, we've already talked about Sigma Chi frat president. What did he know? He was good friends with a lot of these people. Just go down the list. Yesina Raho. She was Yessie. And Brent Turvey was on the list. I wish we had a trial. I really do. Really wish we would have seen a trial. So what else do you guys got tonight? He knew something about, I think he's undercover and was filming people with that Coke can. Possibly Joe Vito. He might have got conversations. Think about that. We only see and we speculate that he's got some type of hidden camera in that drink. Right? Because the grub truck guy, I watched the grub truck guy, Joe Woodall, hand it to him. I watched him hand him that Coke out of the... Did you guys not see that? Let me grab the grub truck footage. You have to watch the whole entire footage. I did a deep dive on this. I think J is for Justice has a whole complete video out there. It's 4 hours and something. Hold on a minute. Somebody else has it on there. For Justice. Here it is. J is for Justice. She has a whole video. And you can go through there and Joe Woodall hands him this drink right out of the cooler. So I don't know if it was a canned video or we all are just suspecting it, but he hands it right out of there. Right. And if it was one of those can recorders, I wonder what the sounds picked up. What did the sounds pick up? That's my question. Conversations. What did they... Truth and Justice has one too. They have the whole entire YouTube. Hold on. Hold on a minute.
Tonight we get
There you
down and dirty with all of the.
That is the 4 hour and 31 grub truck. And if you go, you can see where Joe Vito, let me see where I can find him. He orders, and you can see Joe Woodall hand him it right out of the cooler. It's interesting, some of these people that come through here, because they get there way before Maddie and Kaylee. This guy's still standing around looking at the camera, which is really odd. Some people you can tell who they are, especially with not the bigger crowds around. And that's when everybody arrives. It was a little bit before. That guy doesn't have boots on. Where are you, Joe? Okay, here he is when he orders.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a straight five cheese.
I'll do 2 of those.
2? Yeah, you got it, man.
Are you guys doing burritos right now?
Yeah. Everything. We got everything. We're not out of anything. Whoever floats your boat.
Brother, do you want food? I got you.
Dude, loser. Insulated pants are the way.
All right, do you want mac? You want mac and cheese? All right, that's it.
Okay.
And
2
then,
fried
2
cheese
drinks.
and 2 drinks.
Yeah.
What'd you like?
Coke Zero, root beer, Sprite.
He said Coke Zero.
Coke Zero.
You gotta get on that diet.
Coke Zero, Sprite, root beer. We want.
I say Coke.
I don't want anything to drink.
And water.
Yes.
2 waters?
Water. No, 1 water, 1 Coke.
1 water, 1 Coke.
No cheese? Got it. I got it right here for you.
2 fried cheese, 1 water,
Yeah.
1 Coke. It's gonna be
Now watch Joe.
Oh yeah, man.
Oh shit, there's no water. That's my pocket. You're good.
Oh, well, you did. And then
What's that?
don't worry. And then I looked over Reddit and went, oh, okay. Because I saw.
Now
it.
remember,
I said
Joe
something.
is sitting on the cooler of sodas. He stands up, he gets it out of that box. He says he's sitting on the cooler, but that's basically, yeah. I don't know about that.
I don't know how much is here. But let's see.
All right, no cheese.
5.
I'm excited
It
for
is
you.
right there for you.
We'll do this minus from that and the. It's like $12. Just I'm gonna put some in the tank.
Thank you.
It's been
$12, so it's just gonna be
$5.
$5. Once I clear, yeah, it should just be $5. Just,
17, right?
yep. Or no, it's 19.
Oh, okay.
Because it's 16 for the 2 max, and then each drink is $1.50.
Oh,
That's
gotcha.
19.
Thank you, brother. I'll give you another tip.
Thank
too.
you. Fucking thank you, man. Order 76.
Yeah.
Thank you.
5 cheese.
1 basil pesto. $9.
1 ones.
How's your night going?
So you all are saying that it's a little odd how he holds that soda, right?
Good.
There's a
How's
lot
your
of
night
wine.
going?
It's going extremely well. Cannot complain. I was able to sit down.
Does he ever drink it?
And then they'll come to me.
I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
Like, I hate dealing with fucking people, so
Oh, it's pretty fun,
I hope
honestly.
he lives
Does
in
anybody ever see him drink it?
Very, very rarely are they not, and then somebody in their group is usually apologizing for him.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't make up for it, but like.
No, it's amusing though. It's fun to watch other people be miserable. Yeah.
I can't even put it on faster mode.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back.
I would like the
You know what's so odd is if that soda was in the cooler that Joe was sitting on and he hands him that soda, I don't know if it's warm or if it's cold, but they're out in the cold. And I wouldn't be holding that can that way. Would anybody else?
The car, but not.
Okay.
But if I have like
Yep. So what you want to do is we'll actually do this.
Is there anybody around who else is drinking soda?
Thank you.
Absolutely.
How many more do you need? That's the second one? Awesome.
Don's mom.
Oh,
wait. Yeah, one more.
Maybe I
Here.
didn't have a food.
It's right here.
And then what was the next?
Don't forget to remove the
The
spoon.
car, but
Okay, now as a woman, it looks like Maddie is wearing a bra with this shirt, but in her autopsy reports, it doesn't say a bra. She's missing her bra.
The carbonara Mac of the week.
Here, I'll grab it for you.
Excellent. And then click see rewards.
Enjoy.
And it looks like you not quite have enough points yet.
oh, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, look at the way he's holding this can. If this can is cold, I believe this is really super odd.
$10.
Does he even eat his food? No, I think he waits until his food is about ready.
I do have a big burrito pork here for you.
Yeah, why is he putting that can behind his arm when the girls are on that side?
Cool. Thank you.
47. Thank you.
And then he moves it to the front when he sees Maddie coming over.
Where'd the pen go?
I wonder if he has conversations.
Guys, where's my pen? How are you guys doing? How are you? I'm doing fantastic. I seem to have lost my pen, but that's fine. What can I get for you?
Can I get
Just
the
2 Don
mac and
Trumps?
cheese, mac and cheese, please?
Definitely.
I get thank you.
So Maddie gets a note. Kaylee gets some type of note, and then she starts texting right away.
Oh,
No, the book did not mention the garments in the driveway. Remember, I pointed that out too. That was evidence. And I've shown you the body cam where they send Snyder out there and he's picking it up, but it's never put into evidence.
How many tacos would you like?
Well, you know what? Does this come with one?
It's one, but they're like 6 to 7 ounce tacos. They're not like small.
Where's the
little street-
can? The can's behind him facing Maddie, isn't it? Right here in his hand. Upper quad, first corner, left side. Right there in his hand on the back side. Is he recording conversations?
Tacos? I normally eat 2.
So one would be fine if I was getting pasta or packages too.
Yeah, that's going to be all
Joe went to go work for the U of I, and then he moved back to Washington.
most 2 pounds of food.
I better get 2.
Okay, you got it.
I got her.
2 pork tacos? Done. 1 5 cheese, 1 basil pesto, 2 pork tacos, $24.50 for you.
Sweet, thank you. 2 Don Trumps.
$79. Thank you.
I'm gonna do this. Hold on.
Where does the can go after that?
If we decide,
Yeah.
since we let's
Oh, people have fallen.
People have fallen. That has got to be the 2:00 hour.
People have fallen over reduce for you. Sorry, I'm talking to Twitch stream. Oh, you're so
Thank
good.
you.
Absolutely, thank you. How are you doing?
Pretty good about yourself.
I'm doing extremely well. What sounds good?
Can I get a big burrito?
Yeah.
The guy in the yellow shirt comes over right behind Kaylee. Did he ever order? Did he ever really order?
For the big burrito, would you like pork or chicken? Chicken. Got it. And then you said a Mountain Dew?
Yes, please.
Excellent. Big burrito chicken and a Mountain Dew. We're going to do $11.
Well, before you guys, and remember, before the ISP shows up, I showed you on body cam that they have somebody go pick it up, but it never pops into evidence. The can is in his pocket. I see it right behind his hand right here in this, if you can see my cursor. Got a few more minutes. Okay, Joe reaches in to grab another soda, top right-hand corner. He's got the soda can in his hand.
There's your Mountain Dew and order 80. Thank you very much.
Hello.
And he's got the can pointed at the girls.
Chicken burritos with extra slaw.
2 chicken burritos with extra slaw. $19 for you.
I know I have a $6 waiting for me. Would like to use it.
Awesome.
Remember, we're not accusing anybody. We are just watching.
There you go.
Fuck, I just hit your jacket. Sorry, man.
Fuck yeah.
$13. Hell yeah.
Okay.
Order 81.
Thank you.
Thank you. Extra slaw? Is that charged? No, it's not charged. It's just a modifier. Hello.
They have Apple Pay.
That's
We
where I
have
go.
Apple Pay, right?
Of course we do.
Of course you have Apple Pay. Yes. Hi, camera.
Why is that guy's head shaved in the front? Did anybody notice that just right now? Anybody? What?
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
Wait a minute.
$10.
Did you guys see that? What's wrong with the front of his head?
I do have a big burrito pork here for you.
Cool. Thank you.
Order 78. Thank you very much. Where'd the pen go, guys? Where's my pen? How are you guys doing? How are you? I'm doing fantastic. I seem to have lost my pen, but that's fine. What can I get for you?
Can I get
Just 2 tacos?
mac and cheese, please?
Definitely.
I get
Thank you.
and pork tacos.
Oh yeah. How many pork tacos would you like?
It just comes with
It's one, but they're like 6 to 7 ounce tacos. They're not like small little street tacos. I normally eat 2, 3 is a lot for me.
So one would be fine if I was getting pasta or
Yeah.
mac and cheese too.
Yeah, that's gonna be
I better
almost 2 pounds of
I
food.
better get 2.
Okay, you got it.
I got
2 pork
Dude,
tacos.
just get 2 tacos and move on.
1 5 cheese, 1 basil pesto, 2 pork tacos, $24.50 for you.
Thank you.
2 Don Toms.
Okay, watch. He'll walk by in a minute.
$79.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna do this. Hold on.
Maybe he just has thin hair and balding. Let's look.
If we decide to, since we looked.
Oh, people have fallen. People have fallen over reduce for you. Sorry, I'm talking to Twitch stream. Oh, you're so
Thank
good.
you.
People have fallen over for you. What?
Absolutely. Thank you.
There's a lot going on.
How are you doing?
Pretty good about yourself.
I'm doing extremely well. What sounds good?
Can I get a big burrito?
Yeah. For the big burrito, would you like pork or chicken? Chicken. Got it. And then you said a Mountain Dew?
Yes, please.
Excellent. Big burrito chicken and a Mountain Dew. We're going to do $11. There's Mountain Dew and order 80. Thank you very much.
Hello. I need 2 chicken burritos with extra slaw.
2 chicken burritos with extra slaw. $19 for you.
I know I have a $6 waiting for me. Would like to use it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
So,
What's your reward?
there you go.
Fuck, I just hit your jacket. Sorry, man.
Oh, maybe he just is. His hair is thinning. It looked like he was missing hair or shaved.
Yeah.
$13. Hell yeah.
Worth it.
Oh. Always home.
Well, he's got the can behind his back, not pointed at the girls.
81.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is that a charge? No, it's not a charge. It's just a modifier. Hello.
They have Apple Pay.
That's
We
where I
have
go.
Apple Pay, right?
Of course we do.
Of course you have Apple Pay. Yes.
Yeah, it looked like his hair was shaved right there. Look at the top of that guy's hair right here. It looks like it was shaved. Maybe it's just the lighting.
Camera. Okay.
Chicken taco.
Okay, so I don't know if he actually drinks this soda.
You got it.
I'll do the 5 cheese mac and cheese.
Okay.
Go. No matter what. Like, wait, please. He's waiting. We'll do 2 5 cheese mac and cheese.
Like, I'm adding 2, or you're making it? It's now 2.
Oh,
Sorry.
2.
You're adding 2. Excellent. Gotcha.
He knows Jack Showalter?
Anything else?
Reed, come on, you're the last one. Okay.
You got it. So I have a chicken taco and 3 5 cheese mac and cheeses. Okay. $27.75.
Hey. Hey.
How many apples in the mac of the week? 0, TJ. 0.
Joe gets food much later and he drinks it.
82.
Okay.
Thank you.
We already got 5 cheese mac and cheese.
Wait, you got one?
Yeah, come on.
Oh my god. Can I get a magnifier?
You got it, man. One
Mac and fire. What's that? Is that like chili? Hot?
Absolutely.
Yes, it's going.
Tough.
Of course. Awesome. Dessert burrito for it's ready.
Order 83.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and then it's all on you. I was letting go.
Time to start
Feel warm,
the
Joe?
old car. It's been a while since this engine started. Let's see if it starts.
That is so weird. Yeah, we know that sweater guy at 338, he gets a bump on his head according to my timeline. He is over at Identity Departments, and Rosendahl and Tesdahl are over there giving him a ticket. And we've already checked the repository. We know that that is true. Hayden Villa did get a ticket that night.
V.
Wait a minute, hold on. I think we did take a look at this, didn't we? We did a live about that. I think we did. Let me just see again. Hold on. Yeah, we did check that out. Hold on. Let me see. No, it wasn't that night he got. No. He didn't get an infraction that night. He got one for failing to have insurance. And then in 25, speeding. And in 26, didn't register his vehicle. Okay. It wasn't him that night that we were talking about. It was somebody else. It had to have been. All right, let's go back to this. Where are you at? Where'd you go? Hold on. Wow, that's wild. I thought he was one of them, but what happened? Let me see if I can go back a little bit. Where is that grub truck? Did I click off of it? Hold on. I'm going to have to go through this and see if he ever drinks. I don't know if he does or not. People say yes, some people say no, some people say that he handed it over to somebody else. Boy, that makes me wonder now. I must have closed out that window. So if I'll go and research and see if he ever did drink it. Someone said he handed it over to Peyton. Now I'm going to leave you hanging with that one, guys. ah, oh, and then we've got somebody that made their account 9 hours ago and said, "Didn't you say that you're a Marine?" I've never said I was a Marine, ever. U.S. Navy. And then I said, and 19 hours ago, you made this account. So you're looking at my account. And yes, you said you were in the Marines. You talk about yourself all the time and treat your audience like students. You don't tell the truth. You take other creators' documents and you act like you came up with it. Stop clacking on your keyboard. It's annoying. You are not all that. Rudest creator I've ever seen. Stop your trolling. I see what other people have said about you, and it's true. Stop begging for money and don't worry about my account. Well, baby, this one's for you. And here is the factual screenshot. It was in my comments. It just came through. All right. C Charlie W30. This one's for you. And I know what that acronym stands for. There you go. Exactly what they said. Phoenix Talks. You're looking at my account. And yes, you were in the Marines. I never said I was in the Marines. My dad was a Marine. Whoop, whoop. Yeah. Hoorah. And you talk about yourself all the time and treat your audience like students. Okay. All right. I love it. And you take others' documents. Oh my God. I'm taking other creators' documents. What documents have I taken from any creator? They have all come from official pages, official ISP, official MPD, official court repository documents. Stop clacking on your keyboard. It's annoying. Don't like it, leave. And you're not all that. Never said I was. Am I really rude, guys? Am I rude? I know you guys would tell me the truth right here in our nest. I see what other people have said about you. Well, baby, they can keep talking about me. Keep talking about me, because the more you talk about me, the more people that find me and my bills get paid. And always begging for money. I've never asked for money except for our Dexter, the projector, which I have used specifically for my streams. And don't worry about my account. Well, that tells me you're a troll, baby. You keep trolling, I'll keep scrolling. There you go. You got your 5 seconds of fame. So everyone in this chat has been absolutely amazing, very respectful. We only had a few trolls that were caught in action, and we are all good here. I love every single one of you. No, you're a great creator, analyzer. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Look at that. And we have other people in the hive that are creators here. We absolutely love them. We enjoy them, and we thank you. You're all that and a bag of chips, baby. You guys are amazing. It sounds like Olivia. Oh, boo-hoo. The more you talk about, the less they talk about other Oh, I love it. I love it. All right, you guys, stay true, stay factual, keep asking those questions. The only reason we're here is to find some truth. And I know that this was a uncomfortable topic today, but now you know why I do bring the facts to you. Everyone, stay safe, ground yourself, be real, and thank you to my amazing mods. I am going to give them an emoji that all other mods on YouTube will be so jelly. Y'all be well.
Forever standing tall.